Hello, hi everyone. Today we will talk about Parashat Vayetze. Yaakov Yotze, going out from Israel, from Canaan, to the land of Haran. Why he going? As we learned last week, he stole from his brother Esav the blessings from his father after he bought the firstborn right, and from those two reasons Esav was very angry on Yaakov, and that's why he decided to, with the encouragement of his mother and the blessings of his father, to go to find himself a family, a woman, to build the Jewish home. So where he's going to the family of his mother in Haran, because as we know, the family of Abraham do not love the Canaan girls. They're looking for something different. So Yaakov going to Haran. We know that this journey was long. He stopped. First of all, our sages telling us that from the counting of the years, in the age of Yaakov left when he was in his 60s. He came back after 22 years. So, and when we learning about the years that he was in Haran, it's not 22 years. So our sage is telling us that he was learning for many, many years in yeshiva. Why? Because in the way to finding a woman, you need to stop and learn. Because the base of a Jewish house need to be very, very strong. Always need to be based on learning and strong principles. And to do that, it's hard work. You need that your mind will be strong, and that's what Yaakov did, because Yaakov built the first Jewish home. It was not natural, and as we will learn in the story, it was not an easy place, it was not an easy family, and that's why the foundation of the house must be very, very strong. So then Yaakov coming to Haran, he's coming to the central city. The central city is the well. And in there, he's seeing a lot of sheep, a lot of, all the shepherds coming with the sheep to take water. And he saw the girl, Rachel. Immediately he feel strong connection to this perfection. Yaakov was the perfect woman. Rachel was the perfect woman. She was beautiful inside and outside. And Yaakov feel very connected. And when he found out that she's his cousin, so he really very much feel connected. And he helped Rachel to give water to the sheep and for the goats. By the way, Rachel, the Hebrew word Rachel means sheep, a female sheep. So it's all about the sheep, and as we will learn in the continuation of the parasha, it's also about sheep. Because the Jewish people, this is I read somewhere, have very strong connection to sheep. It's all about sheep. The analogy of the Jewish nation is like one sheep between 70 wolves that always trying to attack, and there is this shepherd, God himself, that if he will not be there, so the wolves will attack the sheep. So Yaakov coming to the father of Rachel, Lavan, his mother's brother, and Lavan wants him to pay him about the service that he did to Rachel in the well. And Yaakov said, I have no problem. I have the price. The price will be your daughter to be my wife, Rachel. And I will work 7 years, and Rachel will be my wife. What he will work? With the sheep, again. So Yaakov became himself a shepherd, and he working very hard for 7 years. In the end of the parasha, we will see that Yaakov describing his work, he giving his heart and soul to the work. He didn't sleep, he didn't eat, only work. Why? Because this is how we supposed to do. If we came to work and we said we would work and we took the job, we must do our best. So Yaakov coming the night of the wedding, and before, Rachel telling Yaakov, listen, we really want to get married. They loved each other very much. And my father, I assume that he will do some trick to trick you, because you're a good worker and God giving blessing to the house that you are in. So we must do some sign that I will be your wife and not another woman. Who is the another woman? Of course, is the sister of Rachel. It's Leah, the older sister. Leah basically looked like Rachel, but there were some difference between them. Rachel was more beautiful than Leah, and Yaakov loved Rachel. Leah her eyes were very, I don't know there is many ways to explain, but they were soft. This is one explanation. Okay, so what they did, Yaakov and Rachel, they did signs that if father will put maybe Leah instead of me to be your wife, you will ask the signs, and then you will know if it's me or not. Come the night of the wedding, Yaakov saying the sign, asking the sign from his wife, and she's saying the signs. In the morning, he find out that the signs were correct, but the woman is not Rachel. The woman is Leah. How come? She knew the signs. So Rachel saw that the plan is going to be true, what they were fearing, that it will not be her, it will be her sister. So that's why she immediately came to her sister, tell her the sign, that she will not be ashamed that her husband asking her for the signs, and they are gone. Okay, Yaakov coming to Lavan in the morning asking, what's going on? Why you lied to me? Why you deceive me? Lavan said, this is not how it works. There is the older sister and then the younger sister. First of all, we're getting married the oldest, and then the youngest. So Yaakov said, okay, I will need to work again 7 years and to take and to marry Rachel. So after the Sheva Brachot of 7 days of celebration, after the wedding of Leah, Yaakov did another wedding with Rachel, and then he worked 7 years to pay the debt of the wedding. Okay, and then we're learning about the building of the Jewish nation. The building of the Jewish nation was specifically in Haran, in a place that is not Israel, place of not good, not believing people, deceiving people. Haran in Hebrew, it's like Charon. Charon, it's like Charon af. It's like nerves. It's a place that God not like, doesn't make him please. Charon af shel makom. Specifically in this place, Yaakov built his house and got married for all his wives, and had 11 children, 11 tribes. Why? As we said, because Yaakov had very strong foundation, and all the 22 years that he was not in his home, he knew that what he is there for. He have a purpose. He's not living in Haran because now I'm Harani, I'm a Haranian. He's not local. He is a person with a mission. He's the son of Yitzchak. He's the grandson of Abraham, and he felt this mission with all his heart. That's how the house was very, very strong. We didn't say the story, but in the way between the yeshiva to Haran, before he came to Lavan from his house, he rested in a place, going to sleep, and he had a dream. He saw the angels guarding him. The angels of Israel left, and the angels of outside Israel came to help Yaakov. And when the Torah describing how he's going to sleep, so the Torah describing that he put stones around him, that it will not be, you have something to guard him from animals and so on. But the Torah is saying that he put stones over his head. Why only over his head? I mean, if you want to guard yourself, guard all yourself. So the Rabbi explained this is a preparation to coming to Lavan. Before you're coming to Haran, before you're coming to a place that you need to always remember who you are, you need to guard your head. You can work 22 hours a day. It's very good. But the head will need to stay in the right place. The head will remember that you are Jew and you are Israeli from Canaan. You have a mission, you have a purpose, you have a goal, and the goal is to be connected to God and to spread the word of God in a good way, in a good feeling. The head, when the head is good, so the rest of the body will be perfect also. So this is how Yaakov building his house in Haran. Now we have two wives, Rachel and Leah, two sisters. Rachel is the perfect woman. Leah is the woman with challenges. Always have challenges. She wants to be liked more by her husband, and she giving him 6 kids. And every kid she's saying, maybe my husband will love me more. Maybe. Now he will love me more. And Yaakov loves Rachel. Why? Because she's perfect. She's perfect. Okay, then the story continues. Leah having few kids. Leah having 4 kids. Rachel seeing that Leah having more kids and she doesn't have kids, she said to Yaakov, please give me kids. And he's saying, it's not, I have kids. You don't have kids. I cannot pray like my father prayed that I will be born because I have. You need to pray for yourself. So Rachel decided, I will do what my grandmother did, Sarah, that Yaakov's grandmother did. And he gave Abraham her servant. And that's what she did. She gave her servant, and Bilhah and Zilpah are two servants of Rachel and Leah, and they're having kids. And in the end, also Rachel have one kid, Yosef. What is Yosef? More. Please God, give me more kids. Okay. After Yosef was born, Yaakov decided that this is the time to leave Haran back to his father's and mother's home. Why? So Rashi is telling us something very interesting. Yosef is the true power that will win the war with the bad side, with the Lavan side. Lavan is the deceiving, is the self-caring, is the snob. And Yosef, he is the power. And Yaakov, and when Yosef was born, Yaakov felt that he had much more power to go back against Lavan and against Esav, his brother. Those are the two dangerous threats that he had. So he coming to his father-in-law and asking him, please, I want to go. Say goodbye to the family. We will go back. And Lavan convinced him to stay. It will be very important. Let's stop. You don't need to be my shepherd. Let's divide the animals, the sheep. You will have your animals. I will have mine. But please stay here with me. And Yaakov agrees. And he take all the animals that have dots, that have brown color also in them. This was that's how they divided the sheep. Lavan took all the white sheep, and Yaakov took all the colorful goats. It's goats, it's not sheep actually. Okay, then Yaakov doing something interesting. Putting in the water where the goats drinking their water, he put sticks. He did in the stick, he did some shapes, colorful shapes. And the Torah describing that because they saw those shapes in the stick, he had more and more colorful ships, and he took all the colorful ships. That's how the amount of animals that Yaakov had grown very big. After a few years, I think, Yaakov started hearing that Lavan's family not pleased with the situation. Yaakov growing very, very big, very rich, and Lavan is not. So he's thinking it's time to go back, and God coming to Yaakov, telling him, I will be with you. Go back to your fathers. Yaakov immediately taking all his family and go back. There was a distance of 3 days walking between Lavan and Yaakov. And what Yaakov needed 1 day, Lavan also needed 1 day, but it was 3 times more faster, maybe 4 times more faster, because he was far 3 days from Yaakov. But Lavan catch Yaakov, and before they met, God revealing himself to Lavan, telling him, do not touch Yaakov. Everything is okay. Yaakov is my servant. And after a strong discussion between Lavan and Yaakov, Yaakov telling him, I'm so much was devoted to the work, and you treat me not good, so please let me go in peace. Lavan said, of course, and in the end they did a brit, a union, and everything was fine. Now Yaakov facing the other challenge, the challenge of his brother. That's what we will learn next week. So this is the parasha in short. There is much more what to talk. First of all, we will talk a little bit about Rachel and Leah, the two mothers, the two wives of Yaakov. As I mentioned, Rachel was perfect. She was beautiful. She was beautiful outside and also beautiful inside. When she saw that her sister would be in a very difficult situation, she offered her the signs and basically save her. Even though she really loved Yaakov, she wanted to be with Yaakov. But this was her way. She was righteous, she was perfect, she had no self-feelings of egoism. And that's how she were. Leah was the person of challenge. She was the hard-working person. Why the eyes of Leah were soft? The eyes of Leah were soft because she cried a lot. Why she cried a lot? She cried a lot because everybody said, Lavan have two kids, two daughters. Oldest is Leah, the youngest is Rachel. Yitzchak have two sons, oldest is Esav, the youngest is Yaakov. So Leah to Esav, Rachel to Yaakov. So Leah realized that she's in very bad position. Esav, first of all, was not righteous. Second of all, he was a cruel person, how he treats a woman. So Leah was crying a lot because she felt that in the end she will end up with Esav. As we know, Yaakov bought the birthright of the firstborn. So basically Yaakov became the oldest, the rights of the oldest. So in the end, Yaakov was married to Leah. But Yaakov felt connected to Rachel because Rachel, she's the righteous person, the person that serve God without any problem. You know, there is those people that from their birth they have this strong belief and strong feeling, and they help each other, and they're perfect. And there is the other kind of people. There is the people that everything that they achieve, they're working very hard to achieve it. And this was Leah's way. Leah's way of work was work of achievement, of step by step, with crying, with hard working. Those are the two kinds of Jews of worshiping God. There is the righteous, the tzaddikim. They have no bad side in them. They just feel it. They do it with happiness, with full heart. And there is the people that need to work very hard. Every day they have a different challenge and a different war that they need to win. And Leah representing those kinds of Jews. And Yaakov liked Rachel. But how many years Yaakov lived with Rachel? Yaakov lived with Rachel for less than 15 years. And he lived with Leah for close to 100 years. And Leah is buried with Yaakov. Rachel is not buried with Yaakov. It's amazing, the tragedy, we can call it, of the love of Yaakov and Rachel that was not exist compared to the life that he had with Leah. The life of Yaakov and Rachel was very, very short. And the afterlife, Leah buried side by side with Yaakov, and Rachel lived buried in a different place. Why is that? Because God appreciating the type of Jews like Leah, the Jews that working hard and building themselves up, that revealing the true powers that they have inside. Outside, they're not perfect, but inside they have very strong powers. This is the purpose of the creation of the Jewish people. In that way, God wants them to reveal very strong powers that they have inside. This is the true beauty. It's not enough to be good outside and inside, and then all the things that you do is nice. It's not enough for God, because He's also perfect. Why needs a perfect? He created the world for the people that have had work to achieve what they're achieving. This is the type of people like Leah. And Yaakov, in the end, was living with Leah, and the majority of the Jewish people are the sons of Leah. This is about Rachel and Leah. We can talk about it a lot more. But now we'll go to a different subject in our parasha. There is the subject of doing all the mitzvot before Matan Torah. And for that I will explain a little bit what's going on with the mitzvot. We know that God gave all the laws, all the mitzvot in Matan Torah. When the Jewish people came out from Egypt, they was going straight. Their next stop was Mount Sinai. Then God did a very big ceremony, celebration, and was the most important situation in the Jewish nation. It was the birth of the Jewish nation. The Jews become Jews when they got the Torah in Mount Sinai. Then God basically told every Jew from then until the end of the days, you are Jewish, and I ask you to do 613 mitzvot. This happened in Matan Torah 250 years or more after the story of Yaakov. And from the story of Abraham is 400 years. But we know that our fathers knew all the Torah. And not only they knew it, they did it. What they can, they did. In a different way, but they did. Not only our fathers, as we talked, also Noah knew, and also Shem, the son of Noah, that he taught Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, and also before Noah, from creation. From creation, they knew a lot of mitzvot, and our fathers did all the mitzvot. And we have many proofs for that. There is a clear pasuk, verse, in Parashat Vayera, that God saying that Abraham doing Vayishmor mishmarti mitzvotai chukai v'torotai. He is doing all the things that he needs to do. And there is many proofs. Noah, as I said, was dividing the animals to kosher and not kosher. How he knew what is kosher and what is not kosher. Abraham gave to the angels milk, and after that meat. Not the same. Yitzchak did Pesach. They give tzedakah. Those are proofs that we see clearly in the Torah. So here there is a very strong question. The question is how Yaakov married 4 sisters. Yaakov married 2 sisters, his 2 wives, and the 2 servants also were sisters. The 2 servants we will not talk today. But Harry married two sisters, Rachel and Leah. It's clear in the Torah that you're not allowed to do it. Very small, simple question. And we need to remember, we're not talking about person that have no choice. He loves her, so he married her. It's not working like that. And after the explanation, why Yaakov loved Rachel, we know it's something spiritual, something strong. Yaakov is the father of the Jewish people. And Rachel and Leah was the mothers of the Jewish people. So basically, he was a righteous person. Everything that he did was in God's will, in God's command, in God's will. So how come he married two sisters? And this is the foundation of the Jewish people. And God loves Yaakov more than all the fathers. Okay. Of that question, obviously there is many answers and a lot of commentaries talking about it. I will mention few. First of all, there is the Ramban Nachmanides, Rabbi Moshe ben Nachman, one of the biggest commentaries and the Jewish scholars that there was. And he, in his commentary on the Torah, not in our parasha, but previous parasha, he saying this clearly, and this is his way in all the Torah, and also in a halachic way, that our fathers did all the mitzvot only in the land of Israel. Only in the land of Israel they did all the mitzvot. Outside Israel they didn't do the mitzvot. Why? Because and this is his way in Torah, you don't need to do, according to the Torah, the mitzvot belongs to the Jewish nation in the Jewish land. That is the land of Israel. God gave the Torah in Mount Sinai, and immediately they were going to the land of Israel because it's together. When you don't live in Israel, so you need to do all the mitzvot in order that you will not forget them. It's something additional, but basically the mitzvot are in the land of Israel. Of course, the Ramban lived outside Israel for most of his life, and he did all the mitzvot. Yes, it's not a halachic, practical way, but this is the Torah's way. In the agenda is that the mitzvot will be in the land of Israel. Yaakov and our fathers were before giving of the Torah, so that's why outside Israel they were allowed to do something different, to not do exactly all the mitzvot, because originally you don't need to. Sorry. This is the Ramban. There is another explanation that basically Rachel and Leah, before marrying Yaakov, they had Giyur. They become Jews. And the law, according to the Jewish law, when two brothers becoming Jew, a person that was non-Jew and become Jew, so he don't have a halachic connection between him and his father or brothers and sisters, because they are not Jew and he is a Jew. In a Jewish way, there is a halachic connection between father and son, that the son is inheriting his father, that the son not allowed to do bad things to his father because he is his father. He required to honor him and a lot of things. So a person that become Jew, he don't have those laws because the father is not Jew, so it's not applied to him. So this explanation said that the two sisters become Jews that didn't have connection between themselves, halachic connection. So that's why Yaakov was allowed to marry both of them. But all those explanations are very nice and very fine, but we want to say something that's more simple and more something very strong that we can learn from it. First of all, we will talk about the old principle that our fathers did all the mitzvot. What does that mean? So to say that they knew the agenda of the mitzvot, we can understand. We know that God spoke with a lot of people, and maybe a lot of them we don't know even that He spoke. We know in the Torah we find that God telling mitzvot to Adam and Chava and to Noach and to Avraham. So God spoke with people and gave them mitzvot, and we know that they learn. There was learning. There was the person called Metushelach. He was the grandfather of Noach, and he had a very big yeshiva. They were learning things. They were learning Torah. They knew. So to know the Torah, it's understandable. But the question is, for example, we will talk about tefillin. In that tefillin that we're putting on our hands, in our head, there is the text of the Torah. And the text of the Torah talking about things that happen much later. It's talking about the going outside of Egypt and things like that. So how they can do it before it happens. So of course they did what they did in a different way, in a practical way, but a different one. Not the same way, because they didn't have the text, because it didn't happen also. So this is one thing. Second thing that we need to understand is what happened in Matan Torah. If they did all the mitzvot before Matan Torah, they knew them, what happened in Matan Torah, why God did something very big and very strong in Matan Torah, what happened, then we become a Jews. What does that mean? We knew everything. And what changed? What changed? So what changed is very simple. And this is very strong, that we need to know about mitzvot. What is the power of mitzvot? When we're saying that people before Matan Torah did mitzvot, what does that mean? It means that a person decided that he wants to be close to God. And he knows that God wants that he will do Shabbat. Not that he will do Shabbat, sorry. That God doing Shabbat, and he will give the Torah. Not now, he didn't give. But God have special mitzvah of Shabbat. He didn't say it to anyone yet. But they knew the ideas. So he taking upon himself to keep Shabbat. God told them to do it. God didn't tell them. God will tell his great-grandsons. Abraham, God didn't tell them to keep Shabbat. But he will tell his great-grandsons. Okay, so Abraham doing Shabbat. So how many sides there is in this mitzvah? There is one side, the side of Abraham. Abraham wants to feel close to God. He wants to serve God. So he's keeping the mitzvah of Shabbat. God told him to do it? No. So this is very strong connection. He's doing something even God didn't told him. But this is not the true power of mitzvot. All the power of the mitzvot after Matan Torah is that we have two sides. God requesting you to do something and you do it. This is the power of mitzvot. The power of mitzvot is the connection with God that's happening through the mitzvot. When you're doing mitzvot, it's very good things. But if no one asks you to, it means that you are a good person. To be a good person is very important. But if someone asks you and you do it, it means that you have connection to that someone. And this is the true power of mitzvot. And the difference is huge. When Avraham keeping Shabbat, it means that he's doing everything that he can as a creature, as a creation of God, to be close to him. Let's say he become the perfect creature, the perfect creation that there is, because he's doing all the ethics of God, all the laws. He's very righteous. But he's staying in his level. He's staying a creature. He's staying a creation. The huge gap between a creation and the creator, it's unbelievable. So it doesn't matter how many ethics, how righteous he would be, he will stay a creation. The power of mitzvot is that the creator telling you, do it, please do this and that. And then he basically telling you, if you will do that, you will have connection, direct connection with me. This is not something that there is in the world. It's not the highest ethics will not come to the level of the creator. And this is the true power of mitzvot. The true power of mitzvot is that by them and through them, you're becoming connected in a strong way with God. So this is something totally different. And this is what happened in Matan Torah. So when we saying that our fathers did all the mitzvot, it means that it's something that was from their side. They took upon themselves, and it was very good. And this was a preparation to the mitzvot that we will do after Matan Torah. This is all true. But true connection with God, the true power of mitzvot happened after Matan Torah. This is what happened in Matan Torah. God came down to the Mount of Sinai, and Moshe goes up to the Mount of Sinai. This is the connection. This happened only once, from Matan Torah on. So this is in general the difference between mitzvot of the fathers and mitzvot of our mitzvot. Now, if we want to understand why Yaakov married two sisters, we need to understand that what is the nature of the things that they were obligated to do before Matan Torah. Before Matan Torah, as we said, God did not told our fathers to do all the mitzvot. He told them to do specific things. There is the 7 mitzvot of the sons of Noah. Of all the world, God wants them to do 7 mitzvot. From those mitzvot, there is many details. And there is things that they took upon themselves. We need to remember, Abraham was 300 years approximately after the Mabul, after the flood. And they knew what was wrong in the time of the flood. Many cities were forgetting, like Sodom and Amorah, but people took upon themselves certain things, certain way of life. Of course, in some places, they forgot totally, like Sodom and Egypt and a few places, and Haran. But the world decided to be better after the flood. And the ethics of relationships and ethics of cheating and lying and deceiving, those things that the world in that time were very strong after the flood. And we have several proofs for that. Proofs. When Yaakov in the morning coming to his father-in-law Lavan and asking him, why you gave me Leah and not Rachel? His father-in-law saying, she's the oldest. What was the discussion? Yaakov coming to his father-in-law and saying, you cannot cheat. The whole world now not lying. How you can do such a thing? to not lie, to not deceive. And Lavan told them, it's something simple. I did not deceive. It's something simple. The oldest before the youngest. So this is the key point. And this is the point. Yaakov came to Rachel and promised her, I'm gonna marry you. He promised. And then in the night came Lavan and gave him Leah. So he have two choices. Or he deceiving his sister-in-law, Rachel. Or he deceiving, he not doing what God did not require him to do, to not marry two sisters. To not marry two sisters is a law of the Torah. Yaakov was not obligated to do the Torah. Only his grandsons will be obligated to do the Torah. To do all the mitzvot of the Torah is something that Yaakov took upon himself. To not marry two sisters is something that he took upon himself, to be extra righteous. But not to deceive, it was not something that he took upon himself. It's something that all the world did and kept. And that's why Lavan was so cruel that he didn't keep that. And all the world, and to be a good world that's based on connection between people, you're not lying, you're not deceiving. This is a way of good word. You cannot be extra righteous and deceive the other person. So Yaakov decided, okay, this thing I will not do. I will not keep this law of the Torah to not marry two sisters, and I will not deceive Rachel. And this is the reason that he did it. There is an example for that. We know that one of the things that God commanded Abraham to do, the only mitzvah that Abraham did with God's words, God told them to do this mitzvah, is the mitzvah of Brit Milah, of circumcision. This is the only thing that God told Abraham to do, and we're doing until today. The question is, if the fathers did all the mitzvot, Abraham then was 99 years old. Why didn't do it before? Why he waited that God will tell him to do it? And the answer is that to do Brit Milah, it's not allowed. Why? A person not allowed to do something to himself, to take blood, to do some damage to his body. You're not allowed. Why? It's something general. It's not only Jewish thing. All the world, after the flood, God told Noah, do not do damage to your body. And Abraham couldn't do Brit Milah. Because to do Brit Milah means to do something to your body, to damage your body. And he cannot do it because God did not ask him. It's something that he wanted to take upon himself, the Brit Milah, because it's part of Torah. And to do damage to your body, it's something that all the world doing before giving the Torah. So that's why Abraham did not do Brit Milah. And when God told him, do Brit Milah, now he was allowed. Because when God telling you directly to do something, it doesn't matter what are the ethics. Back to Yaakov. This is the reason that Yaakov did not marry his sister. He did marry two sisters. Because when you promised and you have the choice to do something on the account of a different woman or a different person, or to do what you promised, of course you need to do what you promised, not to do something that you took upon himself on the account of a different person. This is the idea, and of course what we learn from it is very strong, the power of every word that we saying, and of course the power of our obligation to the world. Our obligation to the world is to spread goodness, to spread God's words. And if God telling you something directly to do, you need to do in all costs. But if you have the choice to be more righteous to yourself or to help others, you need to find a balance that the righteousness of yourself will not be on the account of others. This is what we learn from Yaakov. So if we will summarize, the last thing that we learned is about the evolution of Torah from our fathers that did it to our power of doing mitzvot by action. We have connection with the Creator. We are getting powers from outside creation. This is the second thing. And the first thing that we do, that we talked, it was about the strong thing that we need to have, the strong power that we need to have before we building a house and before we're doing everything in life, before we're going to work. We need to know where our head belongs. Our head belongs to the mission, to the purpose of life, to the purpose why we're working. We're working because we want to build a house, to have money, to feed our kids, to build a strong family. And why is that? Because we want to spread the word, goodness in the world, the God word. This is the purpose. This is why we need to make our mind straight in everything that we're doing. This we learned also from Yaakov. And the difference between Rachel and Leah. Rachel was righteous. Everything for her was easy. She was beautiful. Leah was challenging. A woman with challenge, always working and fighting. This is what we know, that even though to keep our mind straight is something that sometimes is hard work, and even we can cry sometimes, but this is the purpose of creation. Thank you very much. Have a good Shabbos.